Hi everyone, it's Nicola Burton again for The Music Reel, and I'm from Music Means Business. Today I have with me Manny, Mark and Michael from the Pushworth Group, and our very special guest today. Hi guys, we have Greg Tschernez, a very well-known local artist in Queensland. He's a performer, a composer, a producer, and he actually set up the Music for Mental Health initiative last year. So hello Greg, it's lovely to talk to you.
It's really good to be here, and I'm very grateful for the message yesterday, Manny. It was good to hear from you, and it's been good to hear from you guys throughout this whole process, because everything going dark like it did, it was a bit of a what's going on, and the fact that you guys have been so connected with everyone that needs to be connected with, both on the venue and the artist side of things, has been very admirable.
Cheers, mate.
Myself and on behalf of Steve and Bruce in the band, we are very grateful for that communication and for the level of professionalism you guys have been putting out there and the support. So it's great. So thank you to all of you guys there.
Wow, thank you so much. Well, look, that's what we do. We're all about you guys. We're all about keeping everyone connected. And remember, we're stuck at home, all in lockdown as well. So we sort of have really appreciated staying connected to everyone. So I think the boys have got some questions for you. So guys.
Yeah, I'll go first. Hey, Greg. So obviously lockdowns happened. All the plans have changed. What sort of new things have you been working on in the last couple of weeks to keep yourself occupied and busy?
Like 7 weeks now, isn't it? I think since we did our last gig. Well, myself on a personal level, I'm a no holds barred kind of honest kind of guy. I've been, at first it didn't really hit me that much. I was sort of like, it doesn't feel like anything really different. Just no gigs this weekend, which happens once in a blue moon. And it was about 3 or 4 weeks into it. I was with a mate having a chat and went, is it Monday? What? And it was like, what day? Lost track of what day it was. And that was when I sort of went, oh, crap. And for me, it's sort of like I haven't been overly active on the music side of things. I don't think I've actually really picked up a guitar much at all, maybe a couple of times. Just because the headspace has been, I'm immunosuppressed. I'm on medication and stuff for a skin disorder. And I got a phone call early on in the piece where they basically said, you got two choices: stay at home pretty much 95% of the time and or go off my medication that I'm on, which would have been disastrous. So that hit me like a freight train. So what have I been doing? The loneliness got to me. So I took the opportunity to adopt a dog who's sitting down behind me here. So I've been exercising. I go for walks every day, looking after the health side of things and getting that as the main focus has been the strongest thing for me. With the band, though, we've been communicating quite regularly with Steve and Bruce. And, Steve's been putting together, we've been back and forth with a lot of behind-the-scenes type stuff, in the sense of talking about, I've lost 20 kilos now, so my photos from late last year are not what representative of me, so we're going to get new photos done as soon as we can. All that back-end sort of business stuff, as well as coming together with ideas of medleys of songs, like putting together a certain artist do like a medley of stuff and putting together some killer stuff. And Steve's been working on that for us and he creates tracks, backing tracks and that. Not that we don't use any backing tracks, but just so that we can hear the arrangements and learn our parts and that. So a bit of that sort of stuff. Right. And I'll be diving into that. It's been a lot of prep work, I guess you could say, a lot of preparation. Was trying to find that word.
A lot of artists have been doing the same thing, catching up and just trying to...
Well, we can't rehearse.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if we could do that, like if the three of us could have been in a room together rehearsing, man, we'd be doing that. But when you literally can't call your band members up and go, hey, Wednesday, let's do Wednesday from 10 till 2, man. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And as we know, we can't live stream sort of stuff because of the delays and that sort of thing. So it's just a case of conversation, lots of communication, and lots of realization of appreciation of everyone that is in our lives that we take for granted, because it becomes a menial sort of thing where every week is the same. And, I've had numerous messages from Bruce and Steve going, man, itching to get back together. I miss you guys so much, and that's a beautiful feeling.
It is.
It's a beautiful feeling to know that you're appreciated for what you do, and from you guys as well. Like this initiative you're doing here, the hospitality thing. I don't know if you've seen yet, but we dropped one into the Dropbox for you guys to use.
Saw that. Thank you.
I think what have I been doing? Getting the head together and getting it ready for coming back and just going fresh and showing them what we've been preparing before that, like the Dooners as well, the duo. So that's one thing we want to smash hard when we get back.
That's what we want to hear. Go, Mark.
Sorry to butt in there, Nick.
Yeah,
obviously, you just mentioned that obviously you got the information or the proviso that you probably should stay home sort of 95% of the time. So you've probably seen a much stricter side of the lockdown than a lot of other people have. What have been your top sort of 3 tips for staying sane and healthy, mate?
That thing?
Yeah.
Summer, she's been like, it was early on in the piece and I had a few. One thing I've said to people is this lockdown's really making people realize the relationships that are really good and strong in their lives and the relationships that just aren't, they don't fit flame, as good old Will Smith would say. And I had a couple of those where I basically gone, you know what, you do not add to my life, so it's best if we just walk away. And I went into a bit of a loneliness, and it was actually, I was talking to my folks, and because of being a musician, having time to actually create a bond with an animal like a dog doesn't happen. You're out too often in those initial stages. And that was when I sort of went, you know what, I've wanted a dog for years. I've wanted a companion because, I've been single for God knows how long. And I took that opportunity and adopted a dog, a rescue dog, and she's amazing. So that's a pretty drastic sort of step. That's a drastic answer, but it is one that people could keep in mind. It's an opportunity to actually create that and train the dog for separation anxiety and that. What have I been doing? I've been keeping in touch with some friends who keep me sane. Walking has been an amazing thing. Like I didn't walk for 2 or 3 days at one point, and I realized it. And when I got back out and went out for that walk, I've been more social. I've met more people in real life. Lockdowns happened.
A lot of people are saying that. It's like you realize what your local community is. We've been getting up at 6 every day, going for a walk, and then exploring our neighborhood and getting to know the people on our street. How good is that?
Exactly.
That?
Yeah. Saying she wakes me up at 10 to 6 every morning. She comes and sits at my door. She doesn't make a noise, but I just feel her. I wake up and I go, oh, come on, do we have to? Okay, get it up.
Doing it.
And walking around, like interacting and meeting new people, meeting some of the elderly folk. Anzac Day, I went outside for the dawn service, and there was a gentleman having trouble with the app not working, so I walked down to his driveway, social distancing, and played it through my Bluetooth speaker. And this will blow your mind. I put a post up about this. You may have read it on Anzac Day.
I saw that. Brilliant.
I walked down the street, and this bloke goes, "Are you a muso?" And it was Mark Choman, who you probably know in the industry. Living 4 doors down from me at the moment at his brother's house.
There you go. Small world.
Like we had a chat for an hour or so out the front, just like about what he's going through and how it's affecting him. And I invited him into my the group that I created that you were talking about, the Music for Mental Health, which we talked about earlier. So like I've felt it pretty hard, but at the same time, I've not allowed myself to go too far down the rabbit hole.
Good man.
Like
good man.
Keep connected, keeping social. Thank goodness we're in the age of social media.
Exactly.
It's the worst thing in the world, and it's the best thing in the world.
Right.
If anything, like cars can kill people, and cars are an amazing thing. Social media is one of my most hated, but my most loved things at the same time. And I think back, and I've seen some of those memes talking about certain generations that went through World War I, World War II, the Spanish flu, Vietnam, all these different events and lockdowns. Could you imagine Spanish flu, 2 years, lockdown?
Yeah, imagine that. We are so lucky, aren't we, in comparison?
We're whinging after 7 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Manny, over to you.
Well, in 2 words, what typifies your life right now? 2 words.
Ooh, 2 words? That's a bit harsh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
2
It's
words.
actually easy. I got this one. Summer Lovin'.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Or subwoofer.
Yeah, or subwoofer. Yeah, yeah. No. Honestly, my life at the moment is revolving around her and the connection with her as a companion.
Beautiful.
And
A lot of love from a dog.
oh,
Beautiful. And so, Greg, just one more question. Now, this is the most important one. If you could go back to December last year, what message would you give yourself?
December last year.
That's right. Before all of this bullshit happened, you're in December, you can go, right, Greg, I've got some important information for you. What would that be?
The shit's happening soon. You better get ready. That sort of thing. What I say,
Great answer. Great answer.
I don't know if I'd really personally have changed much because I was on a very good trajectory at that point in time. Like with my connections, that I probably would say, you know, keep going the way you're going. Keep positive. There's something coming around the corner, but if you keep these good connections in your life and be true to the people around you, you're going to get through it.
Good answer. Everyone, take note of Greg's answer, because I think it's all about resilience. It's all about optimism, and you know, look out for Greg. You've got G-Base, the act. You've got Across the Ages. You've got the Doonas, which will be coming when we come out of lockdown. They'll be starting to be playing everywhere. And also, don't forget, Greg is a composer and a producer. So if you're looking for someone local to work with, Greg is the man. We'll have all his contact details in the post for this video. Greg, it's been a real pleasure to talk to you today. Thank you for making time for us.
Before we end, if we can, just once again mention briefly the Music for Mental Health.
Yes, thank you.
Music for Mental Health is something I created in October last year when a fellow musician friend of mine, a young 23-year-old female bass player in town, tried to kill herself. And she called me beforehand and I went around there and broke in and helped her get out of the car with the police. That hit me. That was a real mental thing. And maybe that's why I'm a bit more resilient from this thing going on. But from that, I created Music for Mental Health, and music is an acronym for Musicians United to Support, Inform and Care for Mental Health. So easy to find. Music for Mental Health on Facebook. The idea is that it is a closed, private, but it's not hidden. So
but it's safe.
The public can't see it. Family can't see it. The venue managers, agencies, all that sort of stuff aren't in there, so that musicians feel comfortable to go, I'm having a shit time right now. Anyone else feeling like this? And it's been an amazing thing. We've got over 500 people in there, and it's just been an amazing place for people to feel safe. And I think that is the one thing that I'll say in this time. Do not be afraid to reach out and say, I am stuck. I am not getting through this. Can someone please effing help me?
Well said, mate.
Well said. Yeah, and the thing is, because we're all dealing with your expressions of your emotions, musicians are connected to that. You're tapped in intuitively. So sometimes it can be hard to separate that. And so, you know, a big aspect of this business is mental health for musicians. So this initiative is so important. So like Greg said, anyone out there that is struggling, contact Greg. You contact us. We'll give you the details about how to join this initiative. It's so important. And that's a big part of what Pushworth does, is we like to stay connected with everyone, because mental health is everything, because your expression is that's what you do. You're expressing how you feel when you're up on stage. So Greg, thank you so much for doing that. You are a connector and a supporter of people. We love what you do. We so appreciate talking to you today. Please take care while the rest of this lockdown happens. And everyone, I'm going to wrap it up, and we'll see you next time. Take care, stay safe, stay well.
See you, Greg. Take care, guys.